The realization of the Argyle International Airport is one step closer as the International Airport Development Corporation, the IADC, and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines received 3 aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicles at an official handing over ceremony at the Camden Park Container Port on Monday, November 3rd. The state-of-the-art vehicles, which are fully equipped with the latest in firefighting technology, were obtained through funding from the Bank of Nova Scotia, amounting to some $2.7 million or just over 8 million EC dollars, and are among the first set of equipment directly relating to the operationalization of the airport. Addressing the ceremony, Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Ralph Gonsalves provided a detailed explanation regarding the financing of the firefighting vehicles, highlighting the fact that special guarantees from export credit corporations of both the United States and Canada were secured by the government to ensure a low interest rate on borrowings.
I'm very pleased to see today these 3 fire trucks. What are called formally the Aircraft Rescue and Firefighting Vehicles. That's the formal name. These 3 firefighting vehicles and aircraft rescue, they had to be ordered to specifications, and the specifications were not set by Dr. Matthias but by technical people who are aware of firefighting vehicles, aircraft rescue, and they had to be built to the specifications. In addition to these 3 vehicles, these firefighting vehicles, there's a container load of spare parts, I think for a year. There's a container load with them and equipment, supplementary equipment and the like. These 3 aircraft and firefighting vehicles and what we have in the containers, ancillary equipment and spare parts, cost $2.7 million. I just want you, if you want to do it roughly, $3 million US is just over $8 million EC. So you're talking about a number knocking its head to 8 million EC. Now, I want to speak about the financing of these vehicles. We borrowed just over $10 million from the Bank of Nova Scotia, the Bank of Nova Scotia International. But you may recall that in the year 2012, wasn't it 2012, Rudy? I went to Parliament in May of that year with a supplementary set of estimates and a supplementary appropriation bill amounting to $80 million US approximately, just over $200 million Eastern Caribbean. And I pointed out that this was the financing which the IADC had advised me in the year 2012 that we required to complete the airport and have it ready for operation, barring some equipment. But among the items listed was just over $10 million US, which I specified to be borrowed from the Bank of Nova Scotia. And I outlined that we had already signed all the loan agreements, and I myself had put my signature as the Minister of Finance on those agreements for the first $5 million approximately. And that $5 million approximately was to be used largely to purchase goods and services out of Canada. And a major item there was the control tower. And as you know, a Canadian firm has come down to build the control tower. The equipment, the pieces for the control tower and the base came in from Canada. And that because we were buying substantially Canadian goods and services for that $5 million, that we were getting a very special rate of interest on account of the fact because it's Canadian goods and services for that part of the operation, we were getting a number under 4%. Now, if we had to borrow it ourselves without the guarantee by the Export Credit Corporation of Canada, we will pay 8%, 8.5%. But because this export agency from Canada, state agency, guaranteed the payment, that if we don't pay, they will pay, and then the export agency will come for us for the payment, we get the money cheaper. That's one of the negotiations which we did with that $5 million portion. Because Canada, the United States, Britain, other countries in the world have these agencies to do guarantees to assist with the export sale of their goods and services. I pointed out that the second $5 million US approximately, we were working with the Export Credit Corporation of the United States of America to do the same thing in respect of the purchase of goods and services from the US. Mainly these aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicles and the ancillary equipment to them and spare parts for a year, approximating, and concrete trucks, but these will approximate $3 million US. They're 2.7. And because we got the arrangement with the Import-Export Corporation of the United States government, we got the interest rate again under a 4% figure.
Prime Minister Gonsalves also outlined some technical specifications of the vehicles and noted that water systems are already in place to facilitate the aircraft rescue and firefighting operations at the Argyle International Airport. He further noted that there will be several upward level promotions within the fire service of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, as well as the creation of 20 new posts for constables.
These firefighting vehicles were purchased from an American company, Oshkosh, not to be confused with a clothing establishment which has a similar name. The young ladies would know about the clothing establishment with a similar name. The specification for these vehicles, the capacities: 3,300 gallons of water, 4 each, 460 gallons of AFFP/FFP concentrate, and 550 pounds of dry chemical. Now clearly all the arrangements are being made, are in place for the water systems, so that, God forbid, any problem which we have at the airport, we will have all the support facilities. Now, we don't do things in vain. And on the 13th of March this year, a memorandum came from the Ministry of National Security, the Permanent Secretary, of which I'm the Minister. A memorandum went from him upon consultation with me to hire more persons for the fire service. It had to be sent to the Director General of Finance and Planning. I'm also the Minister for the Ministry of Finance. But it has to go from the Permanent Secretary of one ministry, of which I'm the Minister, to the leading official, to the next ministry, of which I'm also Minister. And then it will come to me for me to approve the release of the positions, which I had already given an indication to my Permanent Secretary in National Security that he can send them, so that when the Ministry of Finance send me back the document, I will release. So he said, the Director General says to the Permanent Secretary, who is responsible for the fire service, reference is made to your memorandum dated March the 13th, 2014. Please be advised that approval has been granted, and the approval which has been granted is my approval. But I don't write them to tell them that I approve. It's the Director General has to write that. That approval has been granted to fill the following posts in the Police Department with effect from June the 18th, 2014. Fire Service, Superintendent of Police. That is somebody who goes up. That was not his original position, but that's a promotion. One inspector also is going up. 2 station sergeants, 2 sergeants, and 6 corporals. Those are for those who are in the system who get their promotion. And then constables, 20, which is what I had asked Parliament. So you see how it happens? And you have to plan it, you have to lay it out, and that is why we have these officers who have been recruited already, undergoing training, and then a technical person will come from Oshkosh to operate, to show the police how to, the fire service, sorry, how to operate these fire service equipment, the firefighting vehicles, and to show the technical people, the maintenance people, what you set about, how you do the maintenance.
Meanwhile, CEO of the IADC, Dr. Rudy Matthias, says he is pleased with the timely arrival of the firefighting vehicles.
Today is another important day in the long march to the much awaited opening and operationalization of the Argyle International Airport. As Jennifer said, we've said some time ago that we bought these fire trucks and they were held in Wisconsin and they should be shipped to us. If you recall, we were targeting the opening of the Argyle International Airport by the end of this year, 2014. But as you know, with large projects of this kind, delays are inevitable. So we had done several things to make the airport operationalized by December this year. And one of the things that was critical and important is the operationalization of the aircraft rescue and firefighting station. And in order for that to be operationalized, we have to have the fire trucks. And this is why we bought them and had them built so that they can be shipped to arrive here in St. Vincent at this time. So the trucks appear to be early, but not early because our previous schedule was to have them here for the airport to begin operation in December this year. So what we have to do now is, of course, to store them until the rest of the works at Argyle are completed and we can begin operation at Argyle. Today we are going to take them out to Arnoldsville, where they will be held in trust by the police and will be looked after until we are ready to receive them at Argyle. And I am happy that you are here with us, with our dear Prime Minister, to officially receive these spanking new equipment.
Reporting for the Agency for Public Information, I am Sharish John.